add it as a topic because you have a different opinion on who's taken up the mantle of the biggest TF2 community now, I think, compared to me. But we'll quickly keep going with the nominations. So I think either Matnam or Nox should have been in there instead of Hat. It's just something I would say. Gear definitely deserved to be in there. He had an amazing season, as did Mike. And Mike, of course, then won it with over 50%. So congratulations to Mike, my own teammate. Pretty awesome. Yeah, someone actually mentioned Pescanova. I did come into my head, but Matnam had a much better season in my books than Pescanova. So
yes, I'd agree on that. I've done a Scout season. Demo Man of the season, which has just been announced, which was Numlocked 1, because it was Numlocked, Retshock, and Randa, I think, nominated.
Randa, yeah.
I voted for Retshock, because Retshock had a great season.
I voted for Retshock as well, actually.
He had a great season in the first few matches, and then when the team petered off, it was pretty much because he petered off in my books. I voted for Numlocked. I'm a fanboy myself, so.
Yeah. Funny that.
So, I agree with those three probably being there. Would I put Randa in there? Probably. He probably deserves to be in there. Who else would you have put him?
What, in place of Randa?
Yeah. He had a good season. It was his first season in Prem. So
Randa's kind of best by default because Rib was, kind of uninspiring.
I thought Ribs played the best he's played in like the last 3 or 4 seasons. To be honest, ever since he ceased to be the beast and was just a demo man in Prem for like several seasons, I think he's played of that period, that era. I think he played the best this season.
Okay.
It's hard.
It wasn't up there with Numlocked and Retshock and Randa sometimes, but yeah.
It's hard to recognise when like one team like Reddick or like Reddick and Dignitas have bad games to still recognise for quality players, and lots of the voting is kind of still done on nostalgia, as it were.
Yeah.
Like definitely. People like Hooks is still one of the best soldiers, whether or not Dignitas finished basically bottom of Prem minus Equilibrium.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So I personally would think that went the right way. Retshock maybe deserved it more. I'm not 100%. I would probably, as I said, I am happy that Seb won it. So these guys, I don't know who did you vote for, Cadus?
For what, demo or?
Yeah, demo.
For demo, I voted Retshock, but like I said, I didn't really see much of the season. I saw a few games, but mostly my votes were just based on what I've seen, like in the final and the playoffs, basically.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay. Let's move on to the next nomination, which is
Medic.
Medic.
I can't remember who the third nomination was, but I know F2 and the Sucker were nominated. Royce was also nominated.
Yeah, Royce.
I voted for Royce because Royce is amazing.
Royce is definitely a good medic. He's got such sick strafing and movement. It's ridiculous, but I had to vote for F2. They won the season. Mm-hmm. He is such a calm player, and he keeps that team in line that I couldn't vote for anybody else.
Yeah, I'm not knocking Royce, but it was literally a no-brainer. Yeah. Like, Royce is good, but F2 is literally just that much better than every other medic at the moment.
Indeed. And if we go by the no Div 1 medics, who would you put instead of the Sucker?
Even with Div 1 medics, I wouldn't have put the Sucker in.
That's first-hand experience of playing with the Sucker.
No, I'm joking. He's very good.
I guess Dunk, because Infused, they won the league season, as it were, and came second in the playoffs. And it definitely was an Agron, and kind of only played like a few games, and Jackal played the other half, so it's kind of like, it's hard to vote for someone who only played half the season. And
Dunk only played half the season.
I'll give it to Flashy then.
You give it to Flashy. Okay, there we go. Congratulations, Flashy. There you go. Number 3. Who else would you? Parvy? Probably not. I don't even remember who the other Prem medics were.
It would have been
Bite.
Agron.
Bite played one game mixed team.
Oh.
Didn't he for TCM?
Oh, you played with them as well, Cadus, in that game, didn't you?
Oh, I did as well, didn't I? That was fun.
Long ass.
don't think I ever laughed so hard in a game as I did in that situation.
I noticed quite a lot of the Diggy Frag movie were from that game, that one official, when they played the mixed team, those various sprees they got.
It was just awful, wasn't it, though? It was
Did you lose to Equilibrium as well before you folded?
I think
You
we
drew.
got a map out of it.
Oh, okay. Right, so let's move on to the next one. So I actually think that probably the Sucker deserved to be in there rather than some of the other medics that played. I don't know, Dunk, yeah, as you said, our best results were there when Dunk was playing for us, our run in the second month of the playoffs, so possibly could have put him in there. But yeah, so definitely deserved for F2 though in my books.
If Div 1 medics were there, and we're considering it in the same way we spoke about Nox, how he contributes something that's not really visible in the play, I'd put Torden there with Div 1 medics.
Yes.
Okay.
Because Div 1 won the playoff, and basically it's all down to him that those players are able to do that.
Yeah, that's definitely a good shout. Right, do you want to move on to off classes of the season?
Yes, which was between Walters, Tvik, and Moore.
I don't know. I know you had a good shout putting more there, but
Moore does everything. Heavy, spy.
Yeah, I know, but it depends what you think of when you say off-classer of the season. I don't know. You say he does everything. He doesn't really do it very well.
I think he does it well. He came up big and officials like Heavy and Gully Wash. When he goes spy, he gets a good ratio of results.
He's definitely good on heavy. I think. Plays well on heavy. I don't know about his aim, but.
I guess you could class the heavy on Gully Wash as an off-classing thing, but
well, it is off-classing.
It is.
But I still don't think of it as that. But yeah, I guess so. It doesn't have enough of an impact in the game, really. I don't know.
Really?
Anybody could do it. Is probably what I'm thinking about it.
Maybe. With practice, some of them definitely could. It's not like Sniper. I know what you're saying.
That's where I'm coming from with the heavy on Gully Wash. Is anybody can do that, as you say, with practice. But it only takes 5 games worth of practice to be able to do that.
I think that's a little harsh, but I definitely. I do know what you're saying.
Played it very well. The heavy Gully Wash. They played it. They made it a lot more difficult for the top teams to play against from Gully Wash.
Yeah, they definitely did. But yeah, and it was because of the style the heavy was played, which anybody could have done. It's actually the cool of to play it like that was what it was, rather than him playing it. It was the fact that Moore decided to set up the heavy the way they do, where they play the heavy in Valley for like 30 seconds longer than anybody else does. Every other team that plays heavy pushes it up.
But I'd imagine that would also be Moore's input as well, which kind of is that overlap of who puts the input into the tactics.
It's that category that's not there still.
Leftism post an IRC cooler of the season, which I guess is kind of.
It's calling and it's like kind of pre-game. You're not always having the caller saying what to do.
Brain of the season.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's probably worth thinking about what we could do. Maybe we could do our own one in a little bit about once we've gone through the rest of them. But let's keep going. We've taken quite a long time over this. So Tvik and Walters, definitely two good snipers. Tvik, in all honesty, when you say off-classer of the season, I wouldn't say he's off-classer of the season because of the fact that sniper is pretty much his main class and scout is his off-class. So that's what I would think about it when I think of Tvik, rather than thinking of snipers as off-class. But of course he was Div 1 as well, so would you put someone else in there?
Yeah, definitely.
Cookie's still certainly a good sniper, but you've got to think of off-class.
Stannis was quite nice, off-classing sniper slash heavy, etc. Spy, last and whatnot, and on Gully Wash as well.
Yeah, and then Walters definitely deserved it though, because he plays spy really well as sniper, and definitely comes up clutch in those situations in my books for certain. So, who would I put in? Stannis probably shout, especially put in.
I'd say it takes something quite special to be able to go spy in nearly every game and not get a backstab, Greg, wouldn't you?
Thanks, man. I don't do it every game.
That's something special, in my opinion.
Weren't you trying to rustle up votes for off-class of the season for yourself as well?
Yep.
For your pyro work.
My pyro work's too strong.
That's just awful.
Hey, did you see you probably didn't see my backstab in the Relic game. Fucking
no, I did not see
Seb.
it.
Oh my god. It's like, I'm going to get a backstab on the medic. Literally, I called that, and Seb decides to push through with the Uber, and because they Ubered, Agron Ubers. as I'm backstabbing him. I'm in the fucking like animation, and Agron Ubers because Seb pushed in. Do you know how angry I was? Oh god, I'd
You
have been able
sound
to
pretty
finally
angry
go.
right
I actually
now.
got a kill, a spy. Finally got a kill, a spy. No.
Not bitter
That's
at all.
unfortunate.
No, not bitter at all.
Greg's just not a bitter guy, really. I've never really seen that from him.
He takes everything
Never.
really well, sort of being lots of the minor role in the team.
Okay, so let's move on. Congrats to Waters for winning that. He definitely deserved it. He's such an outstanding sniper. And let's move on to MVP. I don't even remember who won the MVP. So do you want to go into everything's Abby?
Shockey won MVP,
Okay.
and I believe the
Yeah.
other nominations were Nox, and I'm going to have to go to IRC. Anyone for the other nominations? I'm pretty sure Nox was nominated.
Hat, that was it.
Hat was
Yeah.
nominated, yes. Thank you,
So-
IRC.
So yeah, again, we kind of got the Hat in Div 1. He might have made a really big impact because he's a Prem player in Div 1, rather than, if he was in Prem. But, I don't know. He had such a good season. But we'll have to
Yeah.
wait and see what happens this season with him to see if it's definitely, worth being MVP this season. But Shockey, was outstanding the whole season and just pretty much carried Epsilon through a lot of their games on his own.
You think? I didn't see
Well,
much of them, but
I noticed, was it when Epsilon lost to Dignitas in the XLO Cup was when Shockey had a really bad game, like to his normal standards, when Shockey really was on it.
Yeah,
And
was
that-
Shockey having a bad game because he was having a bad game, or was he having a bad game because Epsilon weren't playing in a way that enabled him?
I don't know, he was catching a lot of spam, so I
Nice.
think...
Oh yeah,
Shockey
he
was having-
renamed himself, didn't he? He renamed himself
Yeah.
to like Rocket Catcher or something.
Like literally
That's
just a rocket
catcher.
coming out his face from across the map, he just strafed into it.
Yeah, and then when we played against them in the actual season on Granary, we were I think 3-1 up, and he did some excellent solo work that ended up getting them 2 rounds, just 2 back caps pretty much. That was it. So, but anybody could have done that, I guess. So, as I said before, but it was still really really good play from him in my books. And he always fragged really. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's probably deserved it. As we said, Nox. The thing is, if you're looking at MVP, you've got to have you've got to have it written explicitly what MVP is. Whether
Yeah,
MVP,
it's a bit
yeah,
ambiguous.
yeah. Whether MVP is that player that if he wasn't there, would ruin it for them, sort of thing. Or
That's what I define MVP as if you took that player out of a team, how would they perform without him?
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. But so that when Nox got a lot of votes, but the people that are going to vote, a lot of nominations, even the people that are going to vote for it will always vote Stefan just because of that. While Nox might have deserved it more for the MVP style of it. But that's just what I think. It probably needs to be a bit more explicit, in what we mean by the term MVP. So do you want to move on to debutant of the season?
Debutant, which was between you, Quad, and Harry Hook, and Quad won, didn't he?
Quad won, yes, he did. So, deserving? Yeah, I'd probably say so. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Harry Hook more, but Quad did definitely have a good season. With his first season, after being banned, comes into the Prem, rips it up. So, did have a good season. I don't know what you guys think of that.
We talked about this a lot earlier. Did we establish that Nox was a debutant?
Yes.
Eventually, yes. Because I would have said Nox should have been in the top 3 and won it.
Okay. And the debutant of with the impact he had in this team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people don't, read into the impact of a player like Nox in Epsilon, do they?
It's less explicit impact.
Yeah. They look at the fact that Shockey runs out and gets frags and stuff like that, and Quad runs out and gets frags, rather than looking at what Nox brings to their team. So that's what I would say about that anyway. I think those 3 votes, maybe bringing Nox in, maybe Randa in fact as well. I don't know whether I'd probably say that, but then you've got 3 scouts in a debutant of the season, which to me just is really strange.
Well, scouts shine nowadays, don't they?
Yeah, they do, but it still needs something more to happen elsewhere.
Yeah, I think if the poll had happened before the season, based on I series and things like that, I think it would have been between Randa and Quad for me. But based on what I saw, even though it wasn't that much of the season, those 2 wouldn't really have been contenders in my books. It would have been between Harry Hook and Nox. I only really saw a couple of games for Infused, but Quad was, not really the Quad that I'd seen. And sorry, who was the other guy?
Me.
Randa, no.
Oh, right. I thought you meant in the nomination.
It's never you, Greg. No, Randa. Randa, I thought was really good in the final, but obviously I'd only heard how he'd been, but I heard he'd been a lot less than he had been previously.
Particularly average.
But yeah, for example, I would put you above Quad for debut from what I saw of this actual season. Just no, bro. Just no.
Oh, thanks, mate. Oh, yeah. Getting all my ego up a little bit after being knocked down already. Thanks so much.
He already likes you.
You're definitely better than someone I just said was terrible. Most definitely.
Right.
You're not the worst player in Prem, Greg. We'll give you that.
Fuck off. Right. Let's move on. Well, who's the other? What was the other votes? Upcoming talent. I have no clue.
I have no idea who any of these players were, but WWWW won. So congratulations.
Pixel pickup with Kratos, therefore he gets it.
I played a game with Slate. Was it Slate?
Slate.
Guy?
Oh yeah, we played
a double mix with him, and he was actually pretty good. And I voted for him just randomly. So he seemed in that double mix to have deserved my vote. So there we
Kratos
go.
That's top frag. This Pixel pickup, I should add.
Proved himself in double mixes and Pixel pickup. It's not what upcoming talent of the season has come down to.
Well, you just don't. I don't know. The games I played, it's never come across any of them more than once for Kratos. Where are they if they're that good? Make yourself known.
Where are they?
Lord knows.
Show yourself. Cadus is calling you out, upcoming talents.
Well, if they're upcoming, they should be building bridges away from where they currently are. And the fact that none of us, granted Commander X is like before, but me and Greg have never heard really of them. It's just kind of, it's sad. We should be seeing more of them.
Yeah, definitely. It's quite tough for some of these players though to know where to look and who to talk to. Yeah. You
sign the petition to get a new admin for Pickup 2, and then we'll see you there.
Yeah. So definitely a good point. Or on the other note, add Commander X to Steam, and eventually you'll get an invite to one of these double mixes. These infamous double mixes.
I don't delete you.
Yeah. Right. So surprisingly good team of the season.
Cracklam won. Who else was nominated? Exotic. Nominated.
And I don't know who the other
help
team
us out, IRC.
Please help us out. I'll go into it.
ISIS. There we
I'll go into Cracklan. What? Does anybody surprisingly good team of the season?
Who didn't see that coming?
Lineup. It was the lineup that won ESL last season. You're saying they're the surprise. I'm just astounded that people really can even vote that. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Oh well. So I think I voted for Exotic. Some of them are my mates, and they had a really good season. I wasn't expecting.
With a manager like me, how can you not do well? Can't believe people were surprised at that.
Who was Cracklam win? Did I hear?
Won, yes.
Who was surprised? They won fucking ESL like last season. It was a few months ago. They won ESL. ESL, which was at that time, was by far the most important thing going on in TF2.
All the top teams.
Everyone, they beat fucking everyone, and you are surprised when they come like middle of the table in ETF2L.
Well, I suppose didn't they have Pescanova now instead of Mike for ETF2L? So maybe
but they still had Harry Hook and Red Shark, which was really what it's all about.
Maybe people were just thought Mike carried.
So they didn't deserve it. It looks like some of the CC guys are astounded that they got it themselves as well. Who did you vote for?
They wouldn't have to. I voted for Exotic, of course.
Okay. Yep. Same as me. Cadus, did you vote for anyone on this, or?
I don't think I voted for that one because I didn't really know. I knew it wasn't Cracklan and Exotic. I didn't really, at the time of voting, hadn't seen them play. And to be honest, with what was in Div 1, I wasn't even that surprised when I did find out. But yeah, I don't think there was that many surprises in all honesty this season. It was relatively predictable.
If anything, Dignitas being bad was the most surprising.
Yeah, literally. They were the most surprising team, the fact that they were bad. I agree.
Okay, well, should we just change the name of that one for next season?
Most disappointing team.
Yeah, there we go. We sorted that for ETF2L as well. And now we're moving on to, what's the last one
Fair Play Award, which was between Infused, Epsilon, and LMS. and Infused won. So congrats, Greg.
Oh, cheers. I'm quite proud of that one.
Well played.
So
all
for
down
someone
to
who
me
missed,
not contesting it.
for someone who missed a lot of the season, what were those votes based on? Because normally there's one particular
I
instance that
presume it
inspires
was
them.
Infused not contesting the last moments of Gully Wash in the grand final. And for Epsilon, I'd imagine it's for allowing the restart at the beginning of rounds in the grand finals of one of the maps.
Oh yeah.
And for LMS, I'm not sure, so I just presume for being nice guys.
I can tell you what the LMS one was. I know what it is. They're all Russian, and a team they were playing were really, really late to a game, but they held on and didn't really care and just waited until like midnight or 1 a.m. their time, and then just played it then. So nice of them to do that for sure. But I think it's
so they should have won it really, compared to the
Yeah.
other reasons. That's a lot nicer. No offense, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just a really strange award. Maybe Equilibrium should have got it. One of the seasons before, who was it? Illegal, was it? Got it for being Refused, was it? In fact, Refused, I think it was. Got Fair Play Award for not folding when they lost every single game.
Good job.
Equilibrium took that glorious map against TCM though, so.
Yeah, but Equilibrium did replace like a player or two in between every game, so I'm not sure if it is quite as fair play.
Yeah, they didn't really stick together the same way.
It's just, we've lost, you're out. New Portuguese medic, in you get. We can win next map. We lost again, that's it. New Portuguese medic, now we can do it. Coda, you're raging too much, get out. Now we've got a Div 2 demo, we can do it. Oh, no we can't.
Yeah, they actually took a map off Seacrass as well. I did have to say that they took a map off Seacrass, but then we're using 3 mercs, so they got defaulted. That game did.
Really? Was that
Yes.
like? Did
By the
Seacraft have
admin.
anything to say about that?
Seacrass, I don't think were the people that they were fine with the mercs, but the admins defaulted it because you're not allowed 3 mercs in a game.
I guess that's fair enough, but it's a little silly nonetheless. Did they not even get to replay it?
No, I don't think so. I think
Even
they couldn't be
though-
bothered. I think they.
Oh, I
just
see.
didn't want
Didn't care enough.
That's weren't they active, so.
Well, as long as I got the chance to replay, that's fair enough, I think. But if they didn't, then that's really stupid. If Seacraft agreed to play the game.
I used Retshock as a merc. That's what I used Stunts and Cowho and Retshock as a merc, which is probably what.
It's overpowered.
Retshock too strong.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you wanna? Should we make up this? This Nox sort of vote. Who's the best player that didn't really get fragged, sort of thing. Koff,
You know what
yeah.
we need? We need like a nostalgic player who used to play like this to named after. That's what we need.
Right, why don't we just move on? I think that's a bit shit. This didn't really work as intended. So let's just move on. Let's talk about the map poll quickly as well. So the map poll's just gone up on ETF12. Do you guys want to let me know what you voted for? Let everyone know what you think the map should be?
I voted for Badlands, Granary, Gully Wash, Gravel Pit, Foundry, and Snakewater.
The same as me, I think. Was that all standard plus Foundry and for obscure?
Basically,
Yeah, it's the same as me then.
Yeah, so I haven't actually voted yet, and I'm really considering just voting for 5 rather than voting for 6 because of how they did it last season, where they, the last time they did map vote, because everyone only wanted 5 maps, and then they didn't let you only vote for 5 maps until later, until most people have voted, and it was just like, oh, and they haven't put Turbine, they haven't put Viaduct in. Like, I find this just like really, really weird. You put in shit maps. I'm gonna say it, shit maps, bazillions in there. Croissant, people are voting for it, but you're like, we've got maps that people have played that the only reason they've gone out is because like some noobs didn't want it in there. Like, I'd say that. No, it's not really that bad. It's just the fact that they wanted to try something different. Basically, is why I would say why Turbo's not in there anymore.
I've never played Croissant, but Bazillion, it's the definition of beating the dead horse. No one likes the map, pretty much. There are a few people who like the map, but like in reality, it was a flop. If Obscure is the new Obscure not in there?
No, the new Obscure is not in the vote.
It's not in there,
the old one.
but a map that was rejected already is back. But a map that was rejected, I don't get it. Some maps are rejected, they go back in. Some maps are rejected and they don't go back in. There's just like I don't understand if there was consistency, but there's not.
Yeah, like, so I really appreciate the fact that they put Obscure Final in there rather than Obscure Remake, 100%. It's a better version of the map in my books, and I'm really considering voting for that. I'm either going to vote for 5, those standard 5, or the 5 and obscure, or the 5 and boundary. Those are what I'm balancing at the moment. I still haven't decided, but
I'd maybe have voted for obscure if I had any confidence that Byte could just abandon the new obscure and just refine the old one. If I had
Yeah,
confidence he would do that, I maybe would have voted for obscure, but I don't. I think he might be too stubborn.
yeah, well,
We'll see,
he
though.
posted somewhere else saying something along the lines that he's making some new groundbreaking map or something.
Groundbreaking.
Hang on, let me actually open up Vanilla. It's in the new
Did he
map
use the word
post.
groundbreaking?
I actually
Please
think
tell
he
me he
did.
didn't.
Hang on, let me go on it.
Please, please tell me he didn't use the word groundbreaking about a TF2 map. Guys, I figured something out about TF2 that no one's ever thought of before.
It's cracks.
I'm gonna search
Here you
for
go, here you go.
groundbreaking with Fred.
I believe there is one type of game mode that has yet to be established, and I could see it being liked by all competitive players. However, this
Payload
game
race.
mode I will keep to myself and think it through first before I suggest it to the community. For now, it's the standard 5 CP maps. If Byte comes to us with a changed version of stand-in, I am gonna literally just beat my head against the wall. Like what? Oh, that's
Mike
okay.
sounds like he's high. That's the sort of thing you'd say when you are high. Like, guys, I can't tell you, but I've got something, and you're gonna love it. Oh, what a dick.
Where is this all from? These comments.
It's on the Maps of Tomorrow, the one that was released today. Okay, and
Interview.
it's got an interview with Byte on it. Like, he asks the same questions to both of them, and he's written.
Oh,
that.
on Vanilla. I was looking
Yeah.
in the wrong place. That'll be
So-
interesting to see. I don't know. Like a lot of people give Byte a lot of shit for obscure, but at the end of the day, it was not the best map, but it's better than a lot of people have tried and a lot of people have failed. And I'd say Byte did better than most.
To be honest, I'd rather play Viaduct if Viaduct was like the pro version that the Americans play, if it was an option in the poll.
I would rather play Turbine.
Yeah, Turbine was left out as well, and that was a bit of a shock.
Ever since Turbine Pro came out, it was played in ESL, wasn't it? I don't think ETFL have even played the Pro Turbine version in one of their seasons. Just correct me if I'm wrong. And then so ESL kind of made up this new map, this new way of playing it. It was awesome.
They did play it in Season 9.
Okay,
Because
there you go.
that was a thorough testing, I'm sure,
Yeah, and
with like 3 teams participating.
yeah, and I really liked that. Race to 5, there were 3 goes of it. It was really, really cool.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I liked
Yeah.
it.
So I think it's probably one of the best spectator game modes as well, because it doesn't really time out, and even if it is a 1-0, it's still really, really tense. And I like Viaduct, but it's
It's fun to play.
yeah.
That's what I'm basing it on. Even as medic, I enjoy playing Viaduct because it's action-packed and it's all about the push, a lot more about the push dynamics rather than just. It's different and it's fun.
Yeah, I do like the map, and I've played it a few times, but I've never really had a chance to play it in a proper team and be able to find out those, like, once you've got the point holding sort of things. I think it, plays into a hand of bombing players in a lot and stuff like that, that it shouldn't really,
But it'd be
you
nicer
should-
in Europe in a gunboatless world.
Yes, I think so. I think if in a vanilla world, it might be a little bit better. But as they haven't put it in there, we won't see it for a while anyway. And it will be it would definitely be a really, really fun map to play. And being a scout, makes it a pretty awesome map to play just in itself. That's one of the reasons why I probably wouldn't have it in. It's just because it's such a scout dominant map. Even compared to some of the maps we play now, it's.
But you've
quite
got Cookie
ridiculous.
now, so it's fine.
Huh?
Yeah, no,
We're
I'm
talking
not-
about Turbine still.
No, talking about Viaducts.
Oh, holy hell. I was going to
I'm
say,
not-
Scout. What the fuck? Anyway, I'm back with you now.
I'm
No,
not
I
saying, I would love it. I'd love it to be there and a scout dominant map. I'd love it, but I don't feel that it's, some of the other classes won't enjoy it as much, and the whole point is having enjoyment and a proper team-based map, stuff like that. So, and I don't know. Maybe it should be in there. Maybe we should try it for another season. Same with Turbine. I don't see why these maps haven't been given another chance when you're trying to push freight back on us. When you're trying to push
And trying to get rid of Granary and push
Yeah.
Iron Crate on us.
and get rid of
Fucking
gravel
ETF12
pit.
forums.
Who wants to get rid of gravel pit? Oh well. I've done ranting.
I can see why Gravel Pit wouldn't be in a regular season, but it's the kind of map. It could go and then just reappear in cups and things like that.
I wouldn't be upset if Gravel Pit went, but I'd be more upset if they replaced it with something like obscure or a freight or a
Yeah.
Brazilian.
I think the classics, they really need something special to replace them. Like if a new Gully Wash or something, not like Gully Wash 2, but like a map that was regarded as highly as Gully Wash came along, I could see replacing Granary or
Yeah, I was
Gravel
gonna
Pit.
say.
But
I'd
you
say
can't like,
replacing Granary above replacing Gravel.
yeah.
in
But
my
like they're
I like Granary.
I like Gravel Pit. So there we go.
Well, we decided then.
You're a medic though.
Each-
You're never gonna like Gravel Pit, are you? So.
Hide behind a wall for 20 minutes just to get headshot and drop the Uber anyway.
So, someone was saying they're saying Gravel Pit is boring to watch. Or are you saying Granary is boring to watch, Mineral? Sorry, I haven't managed to see what you said before. Fuck Gravel Pit, you said, yeah. I don't think that. I think it's a really, really interesting match to spec.
Gravel Pit is the best
I
map
love
to spectate.
casting Gravel Pit so much.
So tense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with you there, Mineral. Anyway, I think we've gone on quite a long time, so
Take that, Mineral.
we'll just take a few
Suck a
questions
dick,
and
bro.
answers as shout outs. So we do shout outs now. Type some questions if you want anything asked of us in #Pirate Radio, guys, or PM us. And Cadis, do you want to do your shout outs first?
My what? No, it's cool.
Shout outs to sign off. Do you not want to do any shout outs?
Oh, shout out to everyone, because everyone is everyone.
Awesome. Come CX?
No.
No? It's just no.
Wait,
Wow, this
actually,
has gone well.
shout out to Byte for asking to be in one of my mixes on IRC. I came back to a missed message from Byte saying, if you're mixing tonight, man, hit me up. I'm available. I don't think he used those exact
That's the
words.
last fucking shout out to
Oh,
be fair.
please get him on a double mix tonight. Please.
I've deleted him off friends.
Oh. Okay.
I'll IRC him.
I'll just do a shout out to DJC for having been in this podcast first 3 episodes. Shame he's not here anymore, but now we've got Cadis in. Shout out to Cadis for joining us. Thank you very much, mate. Hope you enjoyed it and they're gonna keep going with us. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining us tonight. It's been pretty good. There's not been any questions, so I am going to end this now. And just before that, shout out to Sal for being awesome. Do check out, me and Sal did a cast, I think, last night. It's now on YouTube where we were both pretty drunk. It's quite funny, so do check that out. And thank you very much for joining us. See you next week. Peace.
Laters.
Can we get off Skype?